And we are back with another episode of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. And just as we predicted, we've got a new champion. And it's Sami Zayn? I know the IWC is up in arms about this, and you better believe we've got some opinions on it. As always, I'm Ryan Hall, Dominique LaRue joining us, as is a custom, and my friend, Sami Zayn winning that triple threat. I gotta say, I did not see that one coming.
I didn't have it on my bingo card for sure.
Not at
Uh,
all.
am I shocked? I muted myself. My bad. Am I shocked? No. Because you and I talked about this. I think before you started the pod, or I think we did during the pod. But I can't remember what episode. But it might have been when Roman and Sammy was fighting at Elimination Chamber in Canada. So, but part of me is shocked because we were in the middle of another Super Cody run. To be honest, I thought Cody was going to carry the SummerSlam. I thought Cody was going to carry the SummerSlam. Maybe you get a triple threat with Randy Orton and Gunther or Fatal Four-Way or something or whatever the case may be. But then part of me thought about, well, they're in Saudi Arabia. Uh, and he's had too many opportunities to win the big one in Saudi Arabia and they not pull the trigger. So it was kind of, I mean, to be honest, it was kind of needed because
Agreed.
how many times we've been on this show and we've constantly talked about Cody need a change. We need a change from Cody. SmackDown need a new champion. It don't matter who. It just needs something, I guess, to shock and awe. And I'll be darned if they didn't shock and awe. But for all the hate that Sammy is getting, it just proves the point of the hate that Jay Uso gets. Because anybody with a pulse, anybody with some common sense, um, is Jay Uso a great wrestler? No. Is he a good wrestler? Yes. Does he work his ass off? He does. Uh, you know, he don't. I mean, you could kind of put him in that five move of doom thing, but it's not really like five moves. It's more of you can call it super kick of doom because
Right.
that match with Oba. I mean, geez, how many times if you was playing a drinking game, you would be drunk before you even get to the main event of Night of Champions because how many super kicks did Jay do to Oba? And one of them he botched. So,
Yeah.
but my point is Jay's a good performer. He's a good worker. He's so good that he blows himself up before he even starts the match. It's crazy. But I'm a fan of Jay. I've
Yeah.
been a fan of Jay since, you know, the Usos were like
We
going back and
both
forth
we
with.
both are.
Yeah, we both are. We've
Yeah.
been fans since. I mean, like I will put New Day and Usos rivalry up there amongst the top because that was a good story. Um, and you know me, I've been behind Jay ever since that promo he did with Roman where he was telling him like I'm not just the other brother. So I've seen the growth. We've both seen the growth. We've picked at every little thing that Jay does, but we still like him. And just like Sammy, um, I'm on record of saying that I believe Sammy should have just been the world champion and not the undisputed champion. But he's the champion regardless.
He
So
is a
he finally
champion.
got the big one, and rightfully
Yes.
so. It was a good choice by him beating Cody how he did, and it was a good match. I mean, at the end of the day, we ain't gonna sell it short. The match was great. Um, I'm very interested in seeing where we go from here tomorrow. Obviously, um, is Cody taking a break, or is he gonna be on SmackDown tomorrow and you know try to get his rematch and this and that, whatever. But a lot of interesting pieces failed from that night. And another interesting piece outside of Sammy shocking the world was Gunther's crash out in the back.
Yeah.
And my goodness, what a crash
Poor
out.
for. Oh my God. Yeah. Boy. Yeah. No, I. It led, of course, to Nick Aldis being put on, quote, administrative leave. That obviously means that Nick Aldis is putting his tights back on for SummerSlam. At least that's been the rumor. But I think getting back to the whole Sami Zayn as champion conversation, there has been a long history of underdog world champions in pro wrestling. Rey Mysterio winning the Royal Rumble and winning the championship. Kofi Kingston. I mean, the list can really go on and on.
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, a great example. There's long been a history of underdog champions. And Sami Zayn, um, just because Sami Zayn doesn't look like a bodybuilder, just because Sami Zayn, isn't you know, just because he's not these things does not mean that he can't be entertaining, that he can't be, that he can't be entertaining, um, as a champion. Do either of us think he's going to keep that title long? I have my doubts. I have my doubts. In fact, there's a theory floating around that he may be, that Sammy and Brock Lesnar may be going at it at Saturday night's main event here in a few weeks. Um,
Where's the location of Saturday main event?
that would be in Madison Square Gardenhausen,
Mm,
the home of the
yeah.
NBA champion New York Knicks, by the way. And
If it's
apparently the home of the wedding of the century, which I'm so sick of hearing about.
well, yeah, they donated 26 million to charities, by the way. But anywho,
Yeah.
on to better news.
Yes,
Yes.
please. I don't want to
Um,
crash out about that.
Sammy winning is shocking. Is well overdue. Uh, to pick it back out for you, I am definitely behind you on Sammy not holding a long time reign. I think that they just did it just to shut some people up. I think they did it because they needed the shock value of it.
Hmm.
There was in Saudi Arabia. They basically wanted the Saudi Arabians to go home happy, like how they did and when it was overseas and Drew beat Cody for the title. Do I believe Cody is going to win it back? God, I hope not. We need a break from
Not
that.
for a long time, at least.
Yeah, just give us 6 months. Give us to Royal Rumble at least. Um, yes, I would like to go into 2027 and Cody not have the title. That's just me. Uh and I can't remember the guy that I saw on TikTok that said this, but I liked it because it took me back to the old school WWE, where any night you could have lost that title. It don't matter where you at. It don't have to
Yeah.
take to two and a half months to get to the PLE and then you lose it there. No, you can lose it on a random Monday night. You can lose it on well, they jumped all around, but let's just say for the sake of it, a Thursday night on SmackDown. But yeah, it gave me that type of feel where, yeah, sure, you won it at Night of Champions, but now you got to defend it. Now you really got to defend it night in and night out. I think they got too comfortable with the whole, title reign thing. Holding the title for, let's not don't get me wrong. Holding the title for 1,316 days, that's an accomplishment. That is by far one of those records that probably won't even be touched. And it was a prime example of how you hold on to a title.
Yeah.
Some people hold on to a title, and you just forget they're champions. And I didn't want that for anybody to have. And with Sammy, I'm happy he has the title. Will they do something with him with that title? Maybe, maybe not. But if we're going down the lane of, Sammy's going to be the champ, you better have a concrete storyline that makes absolute sense because right now it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things, as far as like SummerSlam wise, because how are you going to build up a match for the undisputed title? Not only for the title, but to justify to me of why I should put Sammy versus whoever in the main event of night two or even night one at that matter. So now that I sit here and think about that, and I'm constantly thinking, I'm always thinking when we're talking and I think about things that we said or interesting tidbits. What if it's not Brock Lesnar that gets that title? What if it's someone we haven't seen in a while? And I know what you're thinking I'm thinking of right now, but I want to throw a curveball at you right now, Ryan.
Okay.
What if Sami Zayn defends that title against a particular person that's been out, but he's been out because he needed a break. He's been working out. He's been getting jacked. And he is the
I see you.
second son of Chicago.
So you're clearly referring to Charles Montgomery Punk.
Absolutely.
Okay. I like where your head's at on that. I like where your head's at on that. Um, but that still doesn't make the story of Obafemi winning King of the Ring. Spoiler alert, he actually won that match, which I'm, you know, happy for him.
Right.
But it still doesn't make sense for Obafemi winning King of the Ring, getting a guaranteed title shot, but putting it on the back burner just so we can get his pound of flesh out of Brock Lesnar. I do think CM Punk, who apparently is going to be on Raw the next Raw episode here on Monday. Um, I love the idea, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if it clears up those questions that that I think all of us have around the King of the Ring. And why that stipulation just doesn't really matter right now in the grand scheme of things.
Hmm. Well, see, we had this discussion before we even got started on the show about trying to figure out WWE creative team's thought process, and if you do, it's going to bite you in the butt. And I'm trying to find a solution. I'm trying to find a explanation of what their thinking could have been. And I keep circling back to Oba comes out with a crown, and here comes Brock Lesnar. Now Brock Lesnar don't come out and say why he came out. He just was like, I heard you talking crap. I mean, yeah, he's been talking crap. Y'all have been talking crap back and forth to each other. Y'all literally are 1-1.
Yep.
So another thing that would have made sense if they would have did it perfectly, like we envisioned, you have Oba lose to Jay, but stays strong in that loss because of Brock Lesnar interfering in that match. And then that's why you have Brock Lesnar comes out and he tells Oba, there's only one king in the ring in this ring, and it's not you, it's me. Right.
Right.
And then, they square up or whatever. And Oba says what he said. And then Brock, I'm gonna one up you. I want you in Hell in the Cell. And then you flip that. And Oba says, I'm gonna one up you. Your title, I mean your career for my well, obviously if he interferes with Oba, he don't have that title opportunity or whatever the case may be, but just basically your career. Okay.
Yeah,
So
your
now
career, your career versus my crown.
well, yeah, but I was saying like,
Yeah.
if Brock was to interfere and made Oba lose,
Yep. No.
then
Yeah.
you know,
He wouldn't have
um,
it. Right.
I guess your career versus my hair, hair versus career match. I don't know,
Yeah.
but now you basically did correct. Yeah, I mean, like they gave us stuff that made sense, and then they just take stuff away. Oba winning King of the Ring made absolute sense. I mean, he's literally got a rocket strap on his back. Oba fighting Roman, I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon for SummerSlam. I mean, it would have been a great SummerSlam match, but it's just so much going within the bloodline. Then you got Jacob within the bloodline, so he gonna interfere in that match. You know it's gonna be a whole lot of shenanigans and this and that and the third. And it's so much going on with LA Knight and Solo and the Usos going back and forth with Jacob and like Jay losing that match and he hasn't talked to Roman yet, and it's just so much. So I just can't see. I wouldn't want to put Oba in that chaos. I want Oba as a clear cut path to the title. No interferences, no nothing. Just pure power from him, right? And if Cody would have won, we would have got Cody versus Oba. You rewind back when they first fought, that was a good match for a Saturday night's main event match.
Mm-hmm.
Like damn of a good match. Hell of a good match. But Sammy having the title now, I kind of think it makes things irky for us. Like no disrespect to Sammy, he was a main eventer at WrestleMania, but I guess what I'm really trying to get at is I just hope that WWE can right a few wrongs and then make things make sense. That's our favorite slogan. And the whole situation with like Jay, like, oh, Sammy ain't got an opponent. Sammy just won the title. We've just we've literally just been a day in, and obviously he don't have any opponents because the show don't start till tomorrow, right?
Does Sammy even have his side plates on his belt yet?
I, and that's the thing. I just see the belt. I didn't even see like the side plates. I just see him walking with it. Uh, he's driving in the
Like,
car, had it on the
yeah,
seat or whatever.
like eating breakfast with it.
I mean, at this point, Sammy gonna be that guy off of he gonna be was it Juan Phoenix off of her when the dude ended up dating like going falling in love with AI
Right,
Siri.
right.
So but I need the IWC to just calm down. Okay. We get it. I get it. My brother Ryan gets it. Are we happy about Sammy winning the title? Not fully, but it does make sense. I'm happy in that aspect. I'm happy because Sammy deserves it. He's been in the game for a long time and he's put in the work. So why not let this man be champion? But am I okay with Sammy having a long reign? Not quite. Not saying he couldn't, because I mean Jinder Mahal had a long title reign. So that should already tell you right then and there, you might as well get over it.
Right.
You've seen the worst. So I'm fine with Sammy being champion because I've seen worse.
Yeah.
That reign of Jinder Mahal is burnt into my brain. Every episode, I was like, please, somebody take this title away from this man. Why did Vince McMahon even think that this was a good idea to do? I get it. He was trying to sell tickets over there, overseas, but so, but to pivot, but stay in the same lane as King of the Ring. Uh, what I tell you? What I tell you? Ryan, you already
You
know from
called
when I
it.
text you.
You called it hook, line, and sinker.
I'm so happy Dan Hauser cursed Liv Morgan. That was the best. That was the best moment of the night. That was the absolute best moment of the entire
Yeah.
night. Dan Hauser said, "I got human monies. This, that, and the third." Liv talking about you still owe us money. Blah blah blah. And when she smacked him, I was like, "Oh yeah, he finna curse her." And he was like, "You know what? You know what? You." I was like, "Oh, come on with it." Cursed. I was like, "Yes." I lit after I text you, I had my arms in the air like this, just like, yes, it's finally happening. Yes, she's gonna lose that title. Come on. And not only did she lose Queen of the Ring to Io Sky, but Io Sky turned around and the match was over with. And she's already just said, I'm coming for you at SummerSlam. I was like, ooh, I can't wait for SummerSlam. I cannot wait. Now, are they doing a slow burn with the curse? Yes, because I thought something else was going to happen in that ring when it was jumping Io Sky. I thought Raquel was going to like clock Liv with a boot or something, but they didn't go that route. So maybe the following week, maybe they start going that route, but I don't know.
Yeah. The curse. I definitely marked down the curse, and I know that you were being very careful because I had to watch this on a delay because I was at work. And you were being very careful not to give me spoilers, although I did get spoiled because I can't stay off of freaking Twitter. But that moment was funny as hell. Just watching that look on her face after he got cursed, and then knowing that she was about to have to go against Io Sky one more time. It
Yep.
almost made up for a champion being in the Queen of the Ring, but not quite.
No, absolutely. They'll never watch
I mean, that still didn't make a damn bit of sense.
they'll never watch that out of my mouth. That filth out of my mouth. Because why are you giving a champion an opportunity to be queen of the ring so she can pick the other champion? You're a champion. So it should be two opportunities. Either go after the Raw champion or the SmackDown champion. Not the SmackDown champion winning it all and going after the Raw champion. It don't make no sense. But thank God the EO won. So now that leaves Rhea, which I hope we get some news on Rhea.
Yeah,
But
right.
that means Rhea is available for a match, and who's going to step up to Rhea? Maybe
We also
Stephanie?
haven't about to say we haven't seen Stephanie in a hot minute too.
Yeah, maybe that be the match.
I would not complain.
But
I would not complain.
Rhea's on SmackDown, so it's like, damn, who? I mean, but you know what? Never mind. I was about to say
Yeah, yeah.
because the brand crossover or whatever thing, it's just like anybody just pop up on SmackDown. Anybody can pop up on Raw. It really don't matter. Um, that's why it falls back in line with what was the champion even doing in the Queen of the Ring. So it just make doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Is that too much to ask though, just for it to make sense?
Obviously, it is. I mean, we are
Yeah,
7 months in.
clearly. Yeah.
We are literally 7 months in, right? And we got on this pod
Yeah, we did. Our first
before
episode of
2020.
2026. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, first episode of 2026. Ain't even fresh out the gates. And just begged and plead. Please make it make sense. It's been some hits, but it's been a lot of misses. And quite frankly, I feel like it's gonna be one tomorrow, to be honest with you. It's gonna be something that makes absolutely no damn bit of sense at all. They may just give Cody a freaking rematch, and I'll be like, oh my God. And I text you this too. I said, at the rate they're giving Cody, he is going to break John Cena's record next year.
Hmm.
When they said Cody is a three-time champ, I said, good God Almighty, 3 times he's been champion within the 2 years that he chased that title. He's got the title back 3 times. Well, you know, I mean, he got the title first to end the story, but then he turn around and lose, and then gets it back. And by all means, I mean, the way he got back, the people that he beat, I mean, they're future Hall of Famers, or some are already Hall of Famers. So
And also, where does this leave Mr. Orton? Where does this leave Randy? Is he just, I mean, I know he's been doing the dad thing lately, going to his kid's graduation and stuff like that, but
right.
where the hell is he?
First and foremost, I hope wherever he is, obviously he's at home. We know that.
Right.
But I just hope that he's at home, healthy, recovering, doing everything he needs to for our stem cells and all this other stuff to kind of like keep his body intact. Because I would like to see Randy go after 15. Hell, quite frankly, I would love for him to break John Cena's record so John can be the guy that shakes his hand.
Right.
But I just want Randy to at least get one or two more title reigns, and then put a bow on his career, but on his own terms, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, speaking of a couple of guys that seemed like they were maybe putting bows on their careers, what do you make of that Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns segment from last Monday night? I've definitely got some thoughts about that because it almost seemed like I didn't seem like that didn't seem like Seth Rollins talking to Roman Reigns. that seemed like Joe talking to Colby.
No, absolutely. It felt like them
And that
two
felt
sitting in the
very real to me.
it felt like them talking to each other in the back in the gorilla and like going over what they're wanting to say to each other and how they want to set up this match. And all I can say is that the build up to this match is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're gonna pull a whole lot of old clips from their past and like, maybe some clips we never seen before or pictures or whatever. But these two have had one of the most polarizing rivalries we've seen. Um, Obviously, Roman got some wins on Seth, but Seth has had the wins on Roman when it really mattered the most.
Hmm.
Like he said, he cashed in the greatest heist of the century. He what else? Oh, that's right. He literally broke up the Shield. I mean, like he's the main reason why that we don't have the Shield to this day. And he took Roman's wise man.
Yep.
So, I mean, last time I checked in baseball, three strikes and you're out, right? So I can see where the hatred is from Roman. I can see why he's so vindictive towards Seth because, like, and this is the perfect example of why you and I talk about things like this outside of wrestling because everything uh revolves around each other. Storytelling. It don't matter how you tell a story, you're going to tell it in the same version, just different elements in it. The perfect example of what Roman and Seth is going through is Star Wars, right? You got
An
Anakin,
analogy we have used many, many times, but it's very appropriate. Appropriate.
appropriate, yes. You got Anakin, and you got Obafemi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Obi-Wan
Right.
Kenobi basically raised Anakin to be a Jedi, and like they were brothers. And then Anakin turned and became Darth Vader, and that's where it ended between them two. It became bitter rivals for a century. And then, at the same time, Obafemi loved Anakin. Still, even as Darth Vader, he still had love for Darth Vader because he felt like if it wasn't for himself, he caused Anakin to go to the dark side. That's how he felt.
Right.
Flip side of that, I don't think Roman feels he turned himself to the dark side. I just think that a brother's bond is hard to break. So he still has love for Self. It's just the fact that, I mean, he's been betrayed by Self. The man literally got PTSD from getting a chair shot to the back to the point where this man had an opportunity to end Cody, but he chose to use that chair on Self, which caused him his title reign 13-16. This man would have been on to 13-17 and however long, but this man was so bitter about Seth Rollins turning his back on the Shield that he just totally forgot about Cody for a split second. But I think this rivalry is going to be on the same realm as a can't I can't put it as The Rock and Stone Cold because them two were 1A, 1B. Um at one point 1B had to carry the show like 1A and did a phenomenal job to the point where you just almost not saying you do, but just like a smidget of forgetfulness of like, oh yeah, Stone Cold still out there because he was
Oh, by
gone.
the
He
way,
just up and left for a year, and you got The Rock doing all this, working with a hurricane, doing all that, blah blah blah, making the show, keeping it afloat during the Attitude Era, of course with Undertaker, but. just with them two big draws. And you can say the same for Seth and Roman. Through all the boos that Roman was getting, he still was getting cheers. He still was being involved in the big time matches because people were going to watch. Seth Rollins, same thing. He turned his back, went to the authority, turned his back on his friends, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, he still carried WWE. When Roman had to, excuse me, Roman had to leave for, um, his condition. Who had to carry the ship? I mean, who had to keep the ship afloat? It was Seth Rollins
Right.
and Dean at the time. I mean, Dean pulled the old okey and turned, but you know, even during the pandemic, Seth was being Seth, the Messiah. But then he had to take a little break because Becky was pregnant, so rightfully so. Who stepped up? Roman comes back, head of the table. The guy that carried us through, literally carried us through COVID. Every week was polarizing. Like it was must see TV.
Yeah.
He literally not only carried the company, he carried his cousins. He's carried like WWE through the darkest of times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I almost hate to mention this, but there has been some really fascinating rumors, and there's nothing substantiated about any of this. But I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't address this on this podcast. There have been some rumors on the internet that John Moxley may not be re-signing with AEW, and that, speaking of Dean Ambrose, we may get appearance from Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam. Now, I knew you when I texted this to you earlier today. You asked me if you thought I was likely, and I said I don't think it is, but it's not out of the question. It's not out of the question because John Moxley's been with AEW for a minute now, like for about 5 or 6 years now, I think.
yeah, I mean he's one of the big pioneers that
Yeah,
really
yeah, one of the
carried.
founders. Yeah, one of the founders.
Well, I mean,
Um,
nah, not the founder necessarily, but he was like their biggest signing, to be honest. Well,
yeah,
Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega was like, the founding founders. But, yeah, obviously, they had MJF and the other three that kind of was like the guys, the young, hungry guys that are pretty much the shield in the nest in the essence of like, this is us, this is what AEW represents or whatever. But the star that really kind of like got eyes on the product of like, oh, this might be the new alternative was John Moxley.
yeah.
And like you said, he was the guy that really like he took AEW to heights that I mean pretty much where they are now. That
Yeah.
that what they call them in AEW, not AEW, what they call them in WWE, the lunatic.
Lu- uh, The Lunatic Fringe. I hope that nickname does not come back.
That definitely was what he was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, thumbtacks on the floor. I mean, he was pretty much a updated version, but cooler with the bald head version of Mick Foley.
Didn't that man take a suplex into a bed of nails?
Yes, belly to back suplex on nails. Well, what I mean, what didn't man didn't take? I mean, he literally had what a a bat that was wrapped around with barbed wire or whatever the case may be, or whatever spikes, and it's stuck in his back, and you can see the skin getting pulled from the damn nails and stuff. Like AEW is a crazy place. I mean, it's and you'll think, okay, I want to go off the rails here, but let's sit here and think about the stuff we watched when we were younger, right? ECW is up there. It's up there where AEW is at, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
obviously, it's the founder, father, but some of that stuff made sense in a sense. It made sense. Like watching ECW, watching Taz and RVD and these guys, and they going at it, and like, why are they going at it? Well, they going for the title, or they trying to be the guy, or whatever, or what's his face slept with such. It made sense. And it's Paul Heyman we're talking about. Paul Heyman was making up these storylines, so obviously the storylines were good. It's just like you said, Paul Heyman just wasn't too well of a guy as far as managing money.
He's awful at it.
Yeah. But you turn around and you go to AEW, and like I used to watch AEW when it first came out and the stuff was good, and some stuff was kind of wonky, but I mean like that's wrestling. That's wherever. WCW excuse me. Well, yeah, WCW, WWF, TNA, all that. They got stories that are wonky. I mean, we literally seen a dude reenact Ric Flair while he was in the ring. Like he was copying everything Ric Flair was doing. And they made a storyline out of that. So with that being said, when I say wonky, it got to a point where I turn on AEW. I have no idea what's going on, first of all. But they literally just had I don't know, Texas death match. And I'm like, why are you doing it? Why, first of all, why is that stipulation being used for a regular televised night? Matches like that
Unlike a
to that
random
extreme.
Wednesday night.
Yes, to that extreme should be used for a pay-per-view. But you turn around and you do it on just a random Wednesday night where I can just turn it on TV, and then you expect me to see that again on a pay-per-view. You expect me to pay $59.99 to watch something you already done on a televised show.
Yeah.
It doesn't. What's saying when you get too much of one thing, it becomes repetitive. It gets boring. That's pretty much how AEW is. Now, don't get me wrong. There's other things like Swerve Strickland. I mean, that man, he's doing his thing over there. Hangman Page, he's doing his thing. Like it's guys over there that I enjoy watching.
Yeah, totally.
It's just certain things that are being told for story wise. It just doesn't resonate because I've seen it so much on a regular televised show.
Like is Darby Allin gonna wind up in a wheelchair one day? Bro, like you don't have to go to this extreme every week. Like taking bumps into glass, taking bumps into light tubes. I mean, you don't have to go this far.
You know what Darby Allin remind me of? Jeff Hardy on acid. That's what I
Oh,
believe.
facts on facts. Yeah.
Because I mean the man got thrown down some stairs. And I mean not thrown down, like, just pushed or whatever. They literally just threw this man. He goes in air, he's hitting these stairs and is a rolling. And I'm like, this man is really going to break his back on live TV, or he's really
Yeah.
going to end up doing something, and it's gonna be like Owen Hart. when he sadly passed away, and had a cut scene, and it was just strictly on JR the whole entire time until they
Yeah.
got him out the ring or whatever. That's basically what it's gonna be. Darby Allin gonna be doing the stunt. They gonna cut it off, put it on Taz and them, and they were like, "Oh, we're just sorry. Darby had a
Uh,
misfortune accident.
yeah, this is not part of tonight's entertainment.
This is not part of tonight's entertainment." And then a
Yeah.
few hours later, you get the unfortunate call of what. But I hope that's not the case. I
Yeah, no,
pray
absolutely. Yeah,
it's not the case.
we're not wishing this on anybody, but just to we've kind of gotten off the point here, but one note about ECW is that yeah, ECW was violent. You know, some of the stuff Sabu and Sandman and Terry Funk and all those crazy people were doing was violent as hell. But this was also the first mass market that a lot of the luchadors got to, be on a national stage. Eddie,
Hmm.
Ray, Psychosis, people like that who were not as known outside of Mexico are here in the United States doing their thing, and then next thing you know, they're leading off every pay-per-view that WCW ever had. Also, this was where Chris Benoit got his first start. Dean Malenko got his first big market start. So I would not call those guys in the ring, you know, violent, They were stiff, they were technical, but they knew what they were doing.
And I mean, like, I'm not, we're not bashing AEW. I mean, everybody
No, of
knows
course
what they're
not. Of
doing over
course not.
there.
Yeah.
It's just, I think they try to be different than WWE. Like, look at what we do. This is real action. This is real, this, that, and the third. And I get
We're the
that.
best wrestle.
Yeah. And I love that. But that was the problem with WCW. They were so busy trying to compete with the other competitor that they just totally forget that, you're okay. You're different for a reason. Stay within that. Stop focusing on what else we can do to like push the envelope and get far beyond WWE where people want to come see us instead of watching that. And I mean, like Paul Heyman said it, and anybody that's said it in WWE, AEW makes wrestling better because it's a alternative. And I mean, I still remember this to this day where, we in the group chat and we're talking about like what the F is this? Well, what is this? Why are they doing this on WWE? Like this storyline don't make sense. The old man has lost his mind. He's off his rocker. The list goes on of complaints that we've had about WWE in the dark times, right before COVID.
Yeah.
So when AEW got announced and is going to have their own company, we was excited, and I still remember tuning in every Wednesday just to see what they're going to do next. But now I don't even tune into it. I don't even try to watch it because they
Yeah.
leave no they don't leave anything on the table making me want more. They basically after I bought Revolution that one year, which MJF and Brian Danielson match that
Yeah,
I couldn't.
that was
Or the Iron Man match. I'm
their
sorry.
Iron Man. Okay.
One of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Like per obviously shenanigans in it, but like per wrestling. Like they can stamp that. Well, the real wrestlers wrestle because Brian Danielson and MJF was wrestling. They was move. They was doing moves. They were doing technical moves. They was obviously Brian Danielson made. I mean not Brian Danielson. Damn. MJF made Brian Danielson tap to win. But that was a great. match. I hated MJF after that match, and obviously I do like him now, and I respect him because he's doing a phenomenal job as a heel. He's been doing it, but that was the match that really made me like, I can stop mother because he cheated. He basically sprayed a fire extinguisher in I'm calling him Daniel Bryan's face, and that's how he got to win. He cheated, which he'll do, and that was great.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And we definitely focus a lot more on WWE on this program, obviously.
Obviously.
But WWE is at their best when they're being pushed. And they got pushed for 83 consecutive weeks back in the 90s after an event that started 30 years ago next week. That was Bash at the Beach 1996. Hulk Hogan dropping the leg on Randy Savage. And to me, that proves, and yeah, I know this was 30 years ago. I get it. But that proves that storytelling in pro wrestling doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can just put a bad guy against a good guy, put him in a fight, and let him go at it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We can just put a good guy versus a bad guy and make it make sense. You know, it's like it's like Jim it's like Jim Cornette said, the key to pro wrestling booking is putting two guys in a fight and maybe make people care why they're fighting. That's it. It's not that difficult. It is not that hard to put something like this together. And WWE has way more resources than any of these companies do. WWE has, I truly believe, more talented performers, more talented bookers. And yes, I'm looking at Triple H, even though he makes me crazy sometimes. He's absolutely made some gold booking choices. But we've said it once, we've said it twice, we've said it 50 times on this podcast. Damn it, make it make sense. That's all I ask. It's not complicated. It is not rocket science. Just make it make sense. Damn it.
And I mean, prime example of just put two guys in a ring together and they make magic. Look at what they did for Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. They literally did not talk to each other until maybe a week before was it WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and it made sense. I mean, Obafemi maybe said something to Paul a couple weeks before that, or maybe a week before that, but like all they did, and long as we have some type of story where we could put stuff together, put the pieces together. Obviously, we've known Brock for 20 something years. So now we see this up and coming hungry lying, and you pretty much put two lines together, and it's going to be a fight because they're fighting for supremacy. They're fighting for who is the alpha. So that's a prime example of like just just give us a little bit of something, and we can make y'all are going to make magic off of that.
Yeah. And it was just, and it was nothing more than, Brock Lesnar coming to creative. and being like, I want to work with Obafemi. Let's put something together and let's make magic.
Yep.
Trusting your performers.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And obviously, like you could tell that there's a lot of affection between those guys. That
Brock. Yeah. Brock
Oba
don't.
knows what kind of a rub he's been getting. He's been given. Um, and
Brock
again,
don't work with
it's just
anybody.
not that complicated.
Yeah, I mean, you know better than me. Brock don't at this stage of his career. Brock don't just work with anybody. He works with
Exactly.
people that he wants to work with, that he knows he's for legit is going to make money with.
Right.
And by golly, and the stories we hear about Brock recently, and then like see video, and I can't wait to season 3 of. I'm actually going to watch Unreal, but yeah, season 3, I want to watch Unreal to see, what they say about the open film because I know they're gonna touch base on that. They're gonna touch base on Brock returning and talking about Obafemi, and I want to see that.
Yeah. But one more thing before we kind of wrap this up here. My favorite part of that whole build-up, believe it or not, was Michael Cole.
Mm.
After Oba dropped Brock with that power bomb, and Michael Cole let an S-bomb fly during that broadcast.
Oh yeah, yeah,
To me, that sold just how incredible that was.
yeah. Because he just don't drop s. I mean, he don't drop cuss words at all. So when
Right.
Michael Cole cusses, you know it means something because
Yeah.
like you said in the episode before, like it's so many different elements that makes a story that much worth watching. And for us, we're not there live, so we can't feel the energy. We can't see it. We can't feel it. So
But
we
we
have to
can
feel it
feel it.
through.
We can feel it from the TV, from the commentators.
Right. So in order to feel it, we have to feel it from the commentators. And I mean, and Michael Cole, thank God that like, Triple H lets them be them and like show more personality because obviously Vince McMahon would never let that happen. But for Michael Cole to like really be unleashed and he's basically speaking from us, that was an oh shit moment. So it deserved the oh shit moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, that just really flashed back to some of JR's vitriol over Triple H. Like,
Oh God,
damn
I
you,
thought you
Triple
hated that man.
H, damn you. I mean,
I
damn
I
your
thought
soul.
I thought JR hated Triple H to the point where it don't matter if it was his, Stephanie McMahon, the kids, his whole entire family. Like I thought JR just totally despised the name of Triple H, let
Right.
alone the
Right.
person. So
Yeah, but yeah, no, that just, to me, it just goes to show that, again, it's not rocket science. Just put two guys in the ring, big, meaty men, what have you, but just put two guys, put two performers in the ring and just let them go to town. And that's what makes magic.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
make money.
Well, money and magic are usually synonymous. One more thing before we wrap up here. Speaking of JR, I know that he's definitely a favorite of mine, and I know you've spoken of your affection of him as well. He's been dealing with some pretty serious health problems. I know he had an accident in his home, I believe it was, and has just been released from the hospital after a month. So just just best wishes go out to the GOAT. Here's hoping for a speedy recovery because, one of my favorite wrestling things that I've ever been to was JR's one-man show in New York City 11 years ago. Just hearing that, just listening to that man talk story, just tell stories for 2 hours was well worth every dollar that I spent on that ticket.
I'm right there with you. I well, currently right now with his health and stuff, I'm pretty sure I would never get that opportunity. But if I was to ever get an opportunity like that, I definitely would be front row to listen to JR tell stories too. Because I mean, just meeting Mick Foley and hearing his stories, it felt like I was at a barbecue. I felt like I was at his home and we were just hanging out, just me
Yeah,
and the group of people just sitting there in the living room and like listening to him tell stories. And I was intrigued. And I hope that I get to see more. Hell, to be honest, I hope we get, you know, someone of that magnitude on our show and let them just rip off some stories. I could sit here the whole
absolutely.
hour and like just listen to them and not say a word. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, best wishes to the GOAT. I know he's Mr. Oklahoma. I'm not going to hold it against him. Just best wishes to the GOAT and hope he makes a full recovery.
same here.
Yeah.
Here's you, JR. We love you. Um, hope you get well. Um, if you do go back to AEW, maybe hopefully I could check you out. But just we hope you're okay
Yeah, just
and
health.
just get as much rest as you can before college football kick back off. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Wrestling Roundtable. A very uneventful episode, if I may say so myself, Tom. Thank you so much for joining us again.
hey, and I didn't crash out about Judgment Day. How about that?
I'm proud of you, Tom. I'm proud of
I'm,
you.
I, progression. It's growth. We're growing over here. Okay.
It's all about the progression, my brother. Well, thank you so much for joining us. As always, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Follow us on the social media machine and tune in again next week. For Dominique LaRue, I'm Ryan Hall. You've been watching and listening to the Wrestling Roundtable. Until we eat again, take care and so long for now. And don't let Danhausen curse you.